There are a lot of new players in the market, particularly in the property market that you all deal with all day, every day. And that would be MGAs, the rise of the MGA. So talk about how that's changing the game a little bit and what impact it's having.
So yeah, it is a challenge. There have been an influx of MGAs with new capacity, new underwriting paper that seem to spring up all the time. The challenge that we have is the carriers that we have dealt with over the 37 years that I've been here. We try to maintain underwriting discipline, and I think when new carriers come in, these MGAs come in, there's a pressure for them to put premium on the books. And naturally, the best way to do that is to look at current pricing and go below it. So we're constantly struggling with, we do we use MGAs? Sometimes we have to. Do we prefer to use them? Not when we can, because I think what Ollie had mentioned earlier is, we just don't know if they're going to stand the test of time. And ultimately, for the insured, that may not be a benefit. 1 year he may suffer or may benefit from a big rate reduction, but in 2 years, if that MGA's paper has dried up, they're back on the hot seat and they're going to take a big increase. So we try to look for stability rather than trying to chase the cheapest market on the street. But it is a difficult situation for us because we have to play in that space. And I think seeing the number that come in and the number that go out, I think it will continue for, the next few years, more MGAs popping up, some going by the wayside. And so it's a constant struggle.
Yeah, just to sort of piggyback on what Jim is saying, I mean, the benefit of Jim and I being in the market for such a long time is that we've always seen the peaks and the troughs. And, as the market softens and more MGA business comes into, we've not necessarily reacted and dropped our prices to sort of chase the market down. And in most cases, we've had to let accounts disappear just to maintain the discipline that Jim referred to. So with the benefit of the experience, we know that the market will always come back. We may hit a little blip for a couple of years, until those MGAs run out of capacity or their losses scare them off. But for the most time, the accounts will come back to us, or because our retail agents trust us to make sure that we're doing the best for them. And a lot of them will recognize that sometimes a newcomer isn't necessarily it may be gleaming and it may be shiny, but it's not necessarily diamonds. It could be cubic zirconia. So we just, we just stay with the straight and narrow. Sometimes shiny isn't the best.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we'll all agree on is that consistency is important. We are a market with an annual renewal date, whether it's the insurer's annual renewal on his insurance policy, whether it's your binding authority annual renewal date. What you don't want to do is 1 year have that capacity available to you, and then the following year that not be there. You guys over that 40-year period have stood up. You have a number of relationships in the London market. And I think as we went through a hardening cycle within the London market, you saw Lloyd's cut back the number of coverholder relationships that they had through that period of time, particularly from a property perspective. So, it is about who can stand the test of time. It is about providing consistency to your retailers and to the insured and to your carrier partners. And I think that's one thing that, working with you guys, I've certainly been privileged to witness is that consistent performance that you've provided for your carriers and the consistency of product that you've provided to your retailers over that time.